Elden Ring has some hard bosses. A lot of hard bosses. If someone asked you to list a couple of difficult fights, you might say Malenia, Maliketh, Morgott, Godskin Duo, and many more, I'm sure. People don't generally think of the draconic tree sentinel as one of these brick wall 50+ attempt fights. So why did it take over 10 times more attempts than any other boss fight in this run of Elden Ring? Well, you may be able to figure it out from this clip. Yeah, that's not a lot of damage. In this challenge run of Elden Ring, I'm only using a torch, and nothing else. Well, flasks and smithing stones technically, but shut up, it's torch only. This means no talismans, no armor, no wondrous physic, no spirit ashes, no ashes of war, no consumables, no co-op, and most importantly, no farming runes. Now this sounds like a lot of restrictions, but to any seasoned Elden Ring gamer, most of the fights aren't actually that insane. The reason why Draconic Tree Sentinel in particular is so brutal for this run is due to damage type absorption. Every boss in Elden Ring has absorption stats for 4 types of physical damage, magic damage, fire damage, lightning damage, and holy damage. This is not the same as status resistances, like for bleed, rot, frost, poison, etc. In this particular fight, the absorptions are what we are going to be focusing on. These values range from 0 to 100. This value equates to the percentage of damage blocked. This means that all fire damage has 40% of its damage blocked, or in other words, is only 60% effective. Almost half of all the fire damage done is completely blocked in this fight. I think you can begin to see the problem here. My torch only run is generally difficult because the torch just straight up sucks and does no damage. Over 2/3 of my torch's total damage is fire damage. I'm essentially cutting an already pitiful attack stat by a massive margin. My torch's level is upgraded as much as it can be at this point in the game. However, I'm still dealing roughly 100 damage per hit to a boss that has about 12,000 HP. That's about 120 successful attacks to bring the boss down to 0 health. Now this isn't terrible, but it certainly isn't easy. Just get good enough at the fight to get all 120 hits in, right? Well, now here's where the other restrictions of the run come into play. As a product of not farming runes, I'm attempting this at level 39. The recommended level for this fight is 65. I'm 26 levels down using an already pathetic loadout. Also, I'm not using any talismans or wearing armor. So even though I've put almost all of my level up points into Vigor, I still get one-shot by several of this boss's attacks. And if you're thinking about saying to try this fight on Torrent, to that I say, Torrent isn't a torch, get out of here. So in order to kill the Draconic Tree Sentinel, I have to successfully hit him 120 times while avoiding pretty much every attack. This equates to over 8 minutes of nearly perfect play. One mistake and it's back to 0 hits of 120. After over 100 attempts and 3 hours later, I finally got that last hit in and felled my greatest foe in this run yet. While this surely was brutal, I have a horrifying suspicion that I will soon hit a brick wall so fierce, I'm predicting 1,000+ attempts on this one boss. They may have their own video in the near future. If you want to see me suffer live, consider checking me out at twitch.tv/mage__I. Otherwise, leave a like if you liked, a dislike if you disliked, and maybe even consider subscribing for more. Well, that's about it. Peace.